That's a good team. Now, is that team going to be top four in the East? Hell no. Hell no. They might finish sixth. There's just so many better teams in the East than we are.
Bobby, you were crazy. Sixth place.
Wait. You think we're higher?
We'll transition there. God, man, this is awesome because I can't wait. This is great because we get to come back to this in a few months. The Boston Celtics will finish. And before I say it, we don't know enough about Philly, just with their Ben Simmons things, but it doesn't really matter because whoever comes in for him is going to be an upgrade to. Probably. The Boston Celtics are going to finish at most likely the 4th seed.
Oh my God, almighty. Whatever you've been drinking, good Lord. There's no way he just said 4 seed?
YouTube. How's everyone doing? Jags to Riches, James Peters. Thank you so much for your time. Woo! Regular season is over. Boston Celtics with a 139-110 win over the Memphis Grizzlies last night to finish their regular season with a 51-31 record. Such an incredible turnaround. We're going to just recap, briefly talk about just everything that's going on with the playoff implications. Everything literally came down to all these games last night. Like I said, briefly summarize just the overall playoff madness and what's going on. Just reflect on this season and potentially, skim over the potential playoff matches. I don't want to get into too much of a breakdown right now until everything's official. But I guess it's as simple as to say, some of y'all, if y'all wanted it, y'all got it. You wanted Brooklyn. You wanted to, be the man, bring them on. We'll take all comers. You wanted it. Y'all got it. So let's recap everything next, guys. I mentioned 139-110 win over the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, Memphis didn't have Ja Morant. They didn't have Desmond Bane. They didn't have Jaren Jackson. They didn't have Steven Adams. They didn't have, Trey Jones. They didn't have, as you see right here, Kyle Anderson. They didn't have Brandon Clark. Kyle Anderson is no slouch. In fact, he's literally one of if you see right here, my playoff or not, this is my free agent list. I've got some targets on it. He's right up at the top as a potential, mid-level guy that I hope the Celtics could, convince to, if he doesn't leave Memphis, to sign on. He's the type of player I would love to see them add next year. But again, if you can't even, recognize half of these names here. But like I said, Slow-Mo Anderson, 16 points, 7 rebounds. On our side, Jason Tatum, 31 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 26 minutes. Ime, Lord have mercy, bro. Jaylen Brown, 18 points. Daniel Tice, 11 points, 10 rebounds. Al Horford, 13 and 6. You got some good run off the bench. As you can see right here, Luke Cornett, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Boston Celtics right here in the regular season, 51 wins, 31 losses, the best record ever for a team that was under 500 halfway through the season. Celtics were 20-21 at the halfway point. They surpassed, it says, the 2018-19 Jazz and the 2002-2003 Lakers, who had 50 wins. So we actually, with that win last night, we surpassed them as essentially the single greatest turnaround, in an individual season. I'm going to pull up the stats, and it's fact, as you can see right here, NBA scorer, Celtics, only team to improve seeding on the final day of the season. Why is that? Well, this right here, as you see, the standings aren't completely updated, but the Celtics should have, hopped the Bucks. They should be actually right above them. But as you can see, Miami number 1. You've got Milwaukee. They're going to fall to 3. Boston's going to be 2. So Miami, Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, Toronto, Chicago, and then tomorrow night, 7 and 8, you've got the Nets. You've got Cleveland going to Brooklyn to determine the winner of that game will play the second-seeded Boston Celtics. The loser will then play the winner of the Hawks and the Hornets for that final 8th seed, and that team will play the Miami Heat. Now, let me get the stats going at the base here. Now, like I said, we'll start off. I'm just going to go over everything. Starting high, 51 wins, guys. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. We had a phenomenal pregame show yesterday on Celtics Corner. I had my girl Bree Marie co-host joining. Bobby B. Smooth actually made it. He was at the Atlanta Braves home opener, so he made it about halfway through. And then we had Mr. Jack Bienvenu, the gentleman that's super fan. Here, I'll actually show you right here. But we had this gentleman right here. He actually came on and he did a phenomenal job for like his first time on camera. I believe he's actually going to be going to school to I think he's going to be studying broadcast journalism, sports communication, something along those lines. So fantastic job. Thank you so much, Jack. Appreciate you. If you haven't, go check that out. We had a lot of fun. And just, we touched on the fact that it was, everyone was basically sitting their teams. You know, the Bucks sat everyone. The Sixers sat everyone. Memphis sat everyone. This was pretty much a universal thing. You know what I mean? But for some reason, the Boston Celtics, you know, the only team that actually, like I said, they had all their starters in and they damn played 25 minutes. But we'll get into that, you know. But as far as the 51 season, it's funny. Jack actually mentioned he really became a fan around Tatum's rookie year, which was the 2017-2018 season. Coincidentally, that was the last time the Celtics were a 50-win team. In fact, in the last 12 years, they've only done it 3 times. And like I said, the other 2 times resulted in an Eastern Conference Finals run. So it would be beautiful if they could emulate that and keep that pattern going. But again, Celtics were the only team to actually play all their starters yesterday. Very much, it was unique and odd. And in my opinion, this will end up being something that is a coaching learning experience for Ime. I think he learns from this. I don't think it was the right move. I don't. I think it was a mistake. I think that they should have followed suit with everyone else. In fact, if you'll remember the Milwaukee Bucks pregame show, I mentioned that. I thought that was the game you should have went for. That Friday night, their second to last game, they benched Tatum, they benched Horford, and they still almost, you know, won that damn game. You know, that was the game they should have gone for it, because that right there, if they would have lost, then, you know, you sit everyone on the Sunday game. If you win, then you know you're still battling. I just thought that would have given you a clearer picture. To me, and we'll never know, I think that it has to do with vaccination status. I really, really do. And you think that it's not a big deal, but look, Philly, now they're playing Toronto in the 4-5, and you already see Matisse Thybulle is out. He's unvaccinated. And I feel like there was another big one. Was it Maxey? Maybe not Maxey. I feel like there was 2, and I know Matisse Thybulle was one of the big ones. And I mean, that's first team all defense, one of the best wing or the perimeter defenders in the NBA. You know, you don't think they'd like to have him to put on, you know, Fred VanVleet or Gary Trent Jr. or whoever's hot that game. You know what I mean? Of course they would. That guy's a stud, you know, on the defensive end. So I really think that's what it comes down to. I just don't see any other reason why they would be trying to secure that spot, because they were in a situation where they did not know. Because if they would have tanked, lost, and then Philly wins, you know, we would have been playing Toronto. You know what I mean? So we were, but at the same time, we were also in a situation where if we would have lost, Philly would have lost, and Milwaukee would have lost, we would have all stayed where we were at. We'd have finished in the 3rd seed and gotten the Bulls. But no, it didn't turn out that way. Boston hops, goes to 2, Milwaukee falls to 3, and then you got Philly in the 4th seed playing Toronto. So yeah, I really do. I mean, Al Horford recently came out, and his sister Anna Horford on her Twitter, they came out and said he's vaccinated fully, you know, fuck off, stop, you know, it's like, stop asking me is what Anna basically said. So, but it seems like there's probably someone else. The reports at one time were Jalen. That's kind of conflicting, but whoever it is, it just seems like I can't really understand another reason why they would go that route. And if it's not vaccinated, if there isn't an issue, if everyone's fully vaccinated, then I think this is going to be a learning experience, because my man B Smooth, Bobby said it in his post-game show after this, after the Grizzlies wrapped up. He said, I don't know what it is about this macho bravado, like I have to prove it, bring on all comers. Like, that's all fine and dandy, guys. But in my mind, you literally just drew the most difficult potential first-round matchup if, again, the Nets beat the Cavs tomorrow night. And that's what's so wild. One game, what if they don't? Then we've got Cleveland in the opening round, and everyone is a completely different energy and vibe. Everyone's going to be celebrating and thinking that this is, because that is a best case scenario. Let's be clear. But it's unlikely. Brooklyn owns the series 3-1 on the year against the Cavs. And I want to take a second, guys, because I think that there's a little bit of disrespect around the Nets. It's just like, and I'll be honest, because for a while it was everyone seemed to be on this, bring them on. You know, if you look at any of our pregame shows, all of our guests on the panel were pretty much for the last, several weeks since we've been talking about this. Bring on the Nets, rah, rah, rah. Me and Bobby were a little bit more on the, if you can avoid them, you probably should. Adam Taylor said the same thing. In fact, Mr. Bienvenu last night even said the same thing, and he's a super fan. The man has the tattoo on his arm of a banner that hasn't happened yet. So if anyone's a fan, it's him. Even he said, I would rather not play the Nets. Of course you would rather not avoid them. So it did kind of seem, the energy started to shift. And this is why I want to remind people, this is last year, guys. It took the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks 7 total games and an overtime in game 7 to put this team away. Look at this. Brooklyn went out on a 2-0 lead. You want to know what happened after that? Oh, Kyrie Irving gets hurt. Then look what happens. All of a sudden it's a series, but still look. After game 5, Brooklyn had a 3-2 lead going into game 6. Milwaukee wins these last 2 games, and that's the series. But it's like, check this out. I want to just show you this team that Kevin Durant had. Look at the team he's competing. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis, PJ Tucker, and Brook Lopez. Wow, right? Look at this team that Kevin Durant, Joe Harris, Blake Griffin, Bruce Brown, and a one-legged tweaked hamstring James Harden. That team, Kevin Durant with Bruce Brown, Blake Griffin, and Joe Harris, who was off, literally took that team to a game 7. And if he had the right size shoe on, they probably win that series. That's against Drew Holiday, Middleton, Giannis, PJ Tucker, and Brook Lopez. And by the way, off the bench, you're talking about like the Bobby Portises of the world, the Pat Connaughton, the Bryn Forbes, all 40% shooters. That is a really good team. Obviously, they went on to win a championship. Now, this year, that is not the same Nets team. You've got Kyrie Irving, who can play in all 7 games. There's obviously no Harden, but he didn't have him last year either, a healthy one. So he's got a healthy Kyrie Irving. And they've got guys like Patty Mills now, Seth Curry now, Andre Drummond now, LaMarcus Aldridge coming off the bench. Blake Griffin, who was their starter, might not even play. By the way, Bruce Brown traditionally does pretty good defensively against Jason Tatum. I'm not saying he can stop him, but usually you see Kyrie and Brown as the 2 guys that end up on Tatum. You'll probably see Kevin Durant, you know what I mean? But once again, on the other side, Ime Udoka was on that Nets team. He was actually the assistant coach last year. So I think it's a very interesting series. I do believe Boston wins it. I think it takes probably 6 games. Like I said, we'll get into all at a further date. It's coming up soon after probably tomorrow's game. We'll get into more of a breakdown because, like I said, I'm waste my time doing it just to have to go back into a Cavs one. But and it's kind of funny if you remember that playoff simulator video. They actually had the Cavs taking us to 7 games, and the Nets only taking us to 5. So they had us beating Brooklyn in 5, and they had us beating the Cavs in 7. And I'm not sure as far as Jared Allen, what his health is like, but Cleveland, no slouch either. You're talking about a Darius Garland, who's an all-star. Really, I like that young man so much. But you've got him, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, potential, rookie of the year, who's going to be a stud one day. He really is. And then again, Jared Allen. You've got Larry Markkinen, who's been playing really good. That's a solid team. I might be missing someone, but Cedi Osman, not a bad squad at all, especially if they get Allen back. So we'll have to see. The reason, another thing you can put into it is not having Rob Williams. There was an update recently that as of yesterday, Ben Simmons may be making a return for the opening round. It was mixed reactions. A lot of people thought that that was a benefit for the Boston Celtics. I don't know how that is a benefit in any way, guys. Even if he's not making an impact on the offensive end, they just added back another guy who can average 10 points, 10 assists, and can run the break better than just about anyone, and is an all defensive level defender. So it's like, even if he's only getting them 10 points a game, everything else that they just added, put Ben Simmons on Jaylen Brown and Kevin Durant on Jason Tatum. I mean, that's a tough ass night, so we'll have to see. I didn't get a chance to look at the brackets. However, it does seem like if we win this game, depending on this series, it would either be the Bucks or the Sixers in the next round. And then obviously in the ECF, it would be Miami if they win out, being that they're the first seed. So, I mean, it's just the potential for this could be just the fact that this could be a Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Miami to get to like a Phoenix or oh my God, what a gauntlet. But again, guys, Boston Celtics wrapping up their season, 51 wins. It was just an incredible, the tale of two halves. I mean, like I said, 2021, they were 17-19. 2022, they're like 34-11. It's just that switch from in January, when they got healthy, it's like, I mean, obviously it's historic. It's literally a record-setting turnaround. This team is hot, best defensive team in the NBA. What they've been doing offensively is absolutely incredible. Tatum was just 3-time player of the week last month. Jaylen Brown's on a run where it's like 12 straight 20-plus games. 10 out of the last 12, he's had 25-plus games. 5 out of them, he's had 30-plus games. He's shooting like 40-something% over that span. It's insane. Daniel Tice, Al Horford have stepped up immensely since Rob has gone down. Both of them look excellent. Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams, Derek White. It's a very solid rotation. And again, I think that we win the opening round against Brooklyn or Cleveland. I just think it's just a much more difficult path forward. Thank you all so much for your time. Expect a bunch of videos coming out. We've got a week off essentially. So we'll be covering the play-in game for tomorrow. I believe, me and Bobby would probably be going live here at some point just to discuss everything. Especially after, like I said, it's official, whoever is going to be in that opening round matchup. And then obviously when playoffs come, it's full go. Pre-game shows, post-game, probably we'll watch parties, a little bit of everything. Shout out to our sponsor over on Celtics Corner Prize Picks, guys. And again, thank you all so much for your time. Jags to Riches, James Peters, have an incredible start to your week. Take care, guys.